Hello, my friends. Welcome to Advanced Dulcimer Techniques. My name is Vince Conaway. I've been performing hammered dulcimer for almost 25 years, and I would like to share some of the knowledge that I have picked up with you. I am a self-taught player, which means I'm not certain how much of what I'm going to tell you is common knowledge. I may use different terminology than other people. I may have come up with a way to do something that is really weird. However, they work for me, and I'm happy to share them so that they may work for someone else. Now, I'm playing today a Dusty Strings discontinued model D35. They now have replaced it with a D45, but this is one of their older models. It is a 15/16 hammered dulcimer, which means the treble bridge has 16 courses. Each course has 2 strings. There are 15 courses on the bass bridge, again with 2 strings. They are tuned in unison rather than octaves like a 12-string guitar. They are the same note. So what I've got here are the pattern of white and black markings to refresh your memory. Shows me where to find major scales. 2 white marks, any 2 white marks, will show me a major scale, and I don't need to think about F sharp. I just need to know this is where G lives. Don't need to think about F sharp, C sharp. This is where D major lives. I've got A major, C major, F major. Now, C, D, and G are my happiest keys, giving me A minor, E minor, and B minor, but this instrument is fully chromatic for 2 out of its 2.5 octaves. I'm missing F natural on the bass, C sharp, and D sharp in the high octave. Technically, that's C sharp 6, D sharp 6. But other than that, I've got all the sharps and flats. It's just a little weird to play them. C major, all natural. But this instrument, as I said, is fully chromatic. Some dulcimers will be missing occasional sharps and flats here and there. This one, for example, has a bonus D sharp, bonus G sharp, and B flat that many other dulcimers don't. I particularly really like them because I am a dork who enjoys playing Baroque and classical music that is utterly inappropriate for the dulcimer, but amuses me greatly. So now those major keys also show you their relative minor keys. C major gives you A minor. It's just the same series of notes begun 2 notes earlier. My D major brings me B minor. And my G major brings E minor. Same pattern, just start with G, F sharp E. The focus again is on looking at the markings, not on the strings. But again, I am fully chromatic, so while those are the keys the dulcimer likes, I can do a lot within them. So the chord patterns of a hammered dulcimer are fairly simple. A lot of dulcimer players call these the triangles because 1-3-5 is one triangle and 1-5-8 is a different triangle. In this case, both of those were D chords. D, F sharp A, D, A, D. Now with the F sharp, it's a D major with the D, A. It is an open chord, also known as a power chord. And an open chord doesn't specify major or minor, which is really handy for when you want to do simple chords to accompany other musicians and you don't want to necessarily futz around in the details. It can be either major or minor, depending on the context. But those triangles again, for G, an open A, B minor, B open, C major, C open, D again, and again E minor, E open, and the pattern just continues. But if you're playing with other musicians, especially if you're playing along to like an Irish or a bluegrass jam, it's just really handy to be able to go. And again, if you know other instruments, it's also helpful that you can watch the hands of a guitarist as they make the chord shapes with their fingers. And if you know the chord shapes, you can go, okay, we're playing G, up to C, D, G. And now, having gotten a grip on what your accompaniment looks like for someone else's melody, you can play accompaniment to your own melody. So for example, if you take Morrison's Jig, is lovely and fun, especially since I'm adding in some tremolo. But I think it's a lot more fun once you add a little simple counterpoint. And then you can do some really interesting things, and your counterpoint can get more and more complex. And eventually, you can even remove a hand from the picture. One thing that helps that is if you flick your hand just a little with the middle finger, you can get a little more responsiveness. It's a little bit harder without that finger. And again, that was 3 very different levels of difficulty. That I have found really helps me with counterpoint is keeping the dulcimer hammer low to the string and keep it a little higher for the melody. If I come from a neutral position of here versus a neutral position of here, I find that it makes it a little quieter in the bass and a little louder in the treble. And gravity does the work. I don't even have to think about how hard I'm hitting. I just need to let gravity give me the extra time to gather momentum. And again, there are a lot of different styles you can do with counterpoint. Which brings me to the next one. When you hit just across for an open fifth, it gives you a nice powerful chord, and it gives you a really simple way to fill out a melody. Now when I'm doing, if I could only add the full chord underneath, and arpeggio like that is one way to do it. Way to do it, which is much simpler, is to find the place where those two notes intersect in the middle. You can hit that chord using the fifths in the valley of the strings. And some dulcimer players call it a valley fifth. Just like so. Now that is away from your markers. You have to very much just know your instrument, know the strings, get a guideline on the eye, and just kind of guess. And every now and then you don't guess right. But it is a lot of fun. And again, a fairly simple way to ornament and to fill something out, which is a lot simpler than arpeggiation. Although arpeggiation is also a lot of fun, and there are a lot of pieces where it comes in very handy, especially if you're a nerd like me who really gets into Renaissance, Baroque, and classical music. Sometimes, especially with polyphonic Renaissance music, there are certain things that really just work better. At that point, you just find your chord and arpeggiate. You just hit in rapid sequence. And this is again where your triangles are useful, because you can mix it up a little bit. thank you very much. Have a good time playing. That is the key thing I cannot stress enough. Music, in my opinion, should be fun. And the more you love it, the more you will play it. And the more you play it, the better you will get. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this has been helpful. My name is Vince Conaway. This is the Hammered Dulcimer. Enjoy your day.